welcome to this new tutorial. Today we are going to cover how to create the animation we have just seen, the Blender short video. For that we're going to follow the following steps, and we are also going to import some 3D models, and I will put the link in the description so you can download them for free. So first of all, we're going to create the path and the drift animation. To see the models, this is the little column or monument, statue that we are going to put in the middle, and the car is going to be drifting around it. I have created and uploaded to ZG Trader, but I will put the link as well in the description. Then we will use this material for the floor. You can find some other materials in this website. Then you can also choose to put snow if you want the drifting to happen in snow. I have some other models there, materials, and then the car, which is the car that we're going to use. So I have already imported the models. It is the little statue at the middle and then the car. And we're going to start by putting everything in its proper position. Statue. Then let's just go here. Well, we can't put it here properly. If we put one here, it seems more accurate. Then rotation 0. And let's do the same with the car, which is here, but for that we're going to first place it in the center, and then let's put it at 1. It's still too low, so let's trace it a bit like that. Seems fine. Let's create as well a little plane that is going to act as a floor. Just press it, Alt G, and then it's there. Scale it 10 times. Maybe a little bit more, just a bit, to scale it twice, and now it seems pretty fine. See that the plane is under the wheels, which is good. And let's just then put the pivot in the center of the car. Why are we gonna do that? Well, when the car is shifting and rotating, we don't want it to rotate this way because we want it to simulate the drifting, so we will want to use the origin from here, so the car is rotating from the front part. For that we can create another empty axis. Let's just add plane axis, put it to the center. Then let's go back to the car, edit mode, select the topmost front vertex, and then let's just move the 3D cursor there. Shift S, cursor is selected. Let's just put the Z to 0. Perfect. Then we go back to the axis, which is empty here. We name it car. Snap, selection to cursor. Perfect. We have already the axis here, and then we're going to select again the car. Then empty axis, keep transform. Cool. So with the first thing it's done already. Now if we rotate the car, we see that it actually rotates around this point, which is what I wanted. And then let's just for now put the car aside, so we can create a path for the circuit. This is where the car is going to rotate around. Let's just create corp NURBS. We place it to the 0. We're going to scale it 4 times, no, maybe 6 times, and this is going to be the track of the car. We can adapt it afterwards a bit more, and what we want to do is to not make it cyclic. We click on endpoint, go to edit mode, placing that here, and the car is going to enter through this location. Let's just make the curve 2D, or it would, because if it make 3D, you may by mistake put the points like that. If you keep it 2D, it goes snaps to the floor, which is also convenient. Then let's move this point here, let's put it back, and the car is going to enter through this position. We actually see the curve, which is this one. It has a smooth path, and for that we're going to extrude the point till here, so it matches with the other side. And then once more we are going to put it till here, more or less. We don't want both laps to be identical, and then let's just do a little trick that it's going to make it much easier for us. You can do it with object and convert to. I'm going to do Alt-C, mesh, selecting the corp. We select this point and we do a spin. It's going to look very weird. You see, it's going up. To fix that, we're going to select the axis to 0 and 0. We give the Z as 1. So it's going to rotate around Z and not around the other axis. Then we'll just go back up. And still I don't like it how it looks, because it starts from here, because it detects the center point here. We're going to select 0 and 0. So it rotates around this. Maybe we can displace a bit the X, because this time is a bit more that than the Y. So it's not going to follow the same exact path. And for that we're going to now select a different angle, for instance minus 250. And then we see that the corp gets still here, and what we want is the car to leave through this direction here. Then let's add some more steps for the corp to be smoother. And then we go back here. Now we make sure that everything is fine, and we go back to corp. So corp from mesh, we select 2D, and let's just again put one more point. We extrude and we put it here. So we select then this point here, and as we see, it's not anymore corp because we moved from the mesh to the corp. So for that we're going to select spline type, or we just type it, set spline type, and we set it to NURBS as it was before. And then we see again that the corp is again following the tangent of the points of the control points. So we're going to get it a bit closer. Then we're going to select this one again. We want to make it end point as it was. But that's it. That's going to be the path. Let's move it a bit more here, and then perfect. So we have already the path set. Let's just go back here, and what we want to do is to set the car to the path. So how are we going to do that? Well, we put here a constraint, and we're going to select follow path here. We select the NURB, and our car just goes away. Why? Well, just the position. Let's set it to 0 and 0. So let's just see how it looks. Follow corp, and then we select animate path, and from there the car should start moving, although it's moving a bit fast. Let's just go back here and select the corp, and the frames we want it to happen in about 250 frames. And we'll just give it a try now. It goes a bit slower. Well, that's something we can adjust. We can, for instance, add a little more rotation to the car in the axis Z. We can play with these values a bit. Just make sure you're not crashing here. And let's just now try again. We're going to save this file and click on play. Now what I don't really like is the beginning of the animation, so we can animate this part here. Let's just start by 0. We click on I, and then at about here we want the car to start already turning. So we're going to put here 15 for instance, I again, and once it's inside the corp, we want the car already to be rotated at about 30. We set another I. Let's see how it looks now. And we can see that the car is quite good moving, except at this point it looks a bit weird. Let's see why. So for that we're going to set some control points to the rotation of the Z. Then let's move the car a bit more forward, and then here we want the car already to be at about 30 degrees. Let's see how it looks. It might be okay, maybe not so much yet. Let's just move it 15, and then at the following frames, for instance here, let's then finally move it at 30 degrees. Let's see how it looks now, and we can see that it looks quite better, even though it has some sharp. Then we see that at the end it's kind of hitting the column. For that, let's just select Bezier. Let's make this adjustment. And let's see how it looks from this side. Let's just play the animation. And we only need to fix this last part. The car wants to turn so sharp. We're going back here. We play the animation. It has some sharp movements at the end of the curve, for instance here, but that can be fixed afterwards with I'm just worried about this point here. Let's just make sure that it's not hitting. Okay, it goes super close to it, but it's not hitting. So now we have finished the first point. Let's go to automatically spin the wheels and also to steer them. So we can do all these parts with constraints and also with some drivers. So let's start by going to the car elements, and we see that the tires are the part that we need. We check it, yeah, they are actually the wheels. Let's select that whole hierarchy, and we move to the second layer, and then they disappear from here, as we can see. We choose the second layer, not the first one this time, because we are going to join these wheels into one whole object. Select B, it's going to be easier. Make sure that everything was selected, and Ctrl G. Now we have Chrome 3. I'm going to call front left wheel. Let's do the same with the other wheels. So let's just select the whole hierarchy and move it back to the first layer. Perfect. Then we're going to be animating those wheels at the same time that the car is moving. So now what we want to rotate is the wheel of the car in the X rotation in local space. We want the wheel to spin. So let's go back to global space, and then just make sure we see that it's rotating. But it's not rotating it in a proper way because it's not around its origin. So for that we are going to transform origin to geometry. So we're going to do the same with all the other wheels. So what we see now, let's check with the rotation. What we see is that it's not actually spinning properly. So let's just make a little adjustment to this. We're going to click on Ctrl Shift Alt C. We can also do it with transform set geometry, and we're going to set the geometry to the volume. So let's just give it another try now, and as we see the wheel is properly rotating. Let's do the same trick to all the other wheels. Center of the mass, center of the mass, and center of the mass. Just make sure that all the wheels are rotating fine. Not all of them, but at least this one as well. Perfect. Now it's time to add the driver. Let's right click, add drivers, and manually create later. We're going to start by the front left wheel. We're going to go to the graph editor. Then we make it bigger, the screen. We select drivers. And then there's something that is very important. You may have an error. You click on error rotation. You may have an error here. If that's the case, you have to go to users, go to file, user preferences, and then you have to go to file and enable auto Python scripts. If it's not enabled, you may have a little error here. But for now, let's just make it simple. Let's see. Here we have to use the bar. We have to select from which object we're going to take the reference. So in this case, we are going to take it from the car. We just type car here. So when the car is moving, we're going to be also moving the wheels. We keep for now the X location in the wall space, and then we want to move with the when it's moving on the X axis, we want the wheels to rotate. Then we want to add one bar, and we want it to rotate also when it's moving in the Y axis. So let's just select here transfer channel, and now we select Y location. So now for the expression, we're going to select, let's say, bar x, bar y, and then we're going to say the absolute value of bar x plus absolute value of bar y, and we are summing them up. Here with this expression, what we're going to have is that the value of x is going to go from 0 to 1, and the value of y is going to go from 0 to 1. So we have here an example. We're going to be all the time, all of them going to be positive. So it's going to be 1, 1, 1. That means the maximum value we're going to get is 1, and the minimum value we're going to get is probably 0, 5. So that means we will be always swinging between 0, 5 and 1. That we don't want, because if we do that, what we're going to have is all the time between 0, 5 and 1, and it's going to be moving in between those values, and the wheel is going to be going back and forth all the time. So let's add a little trick here. Use self, and then we select self dot animation data dot drivers dot find, and then we have to find this specific bar. We can find the name here. So it says it's rotation Euler. We go back here, rotation Euler, and then we say evaluate. We evaluate the frame. This is a global bar, it's already taken. If you want to take this bar also, let's say it was not taken, or you want to take any other from the scene, you would click on add bar, and then from here you may say, for instance, let's say the scene. So we go here, we select scene, and then we select the path, which is frame current. Then we would be able to use this bar. We would call it frame whatever, but that we don't need it now. So we're just going to use this bar as it was here, and what we're going to do is to be adding the values. So every time we're going to get the previous value plus the new value. To see how it looks, we're going to go here, we select the camera. Since we are adding the front left wheel, we're going to be in this position. We're going to select that. We're going to select lock camera to view, and then we rotate. We get closer to the car, and then we leave the camera here pointing to the wheel. So we're going to select the camera again. We're going to select the tires, Ctrl P, keep transform. So now when we play animation, everything is going to be moving along. And now what we can do is take a look at how it looks, the animation. So as we can see, it's moving forward. Maybe it's a little too fast, because the car is not going to be, the front wheel usually doesn't rotate that fast. So let's go back. We select again the graph editor, and then we're going to select the front wheel. So we don't want it to go that fast. What we're going to do is go to the F curve, and then first of all we're going to put it linear, and then we're going to move a bit the value. We're going to tweak, and let's play again. It's still too fast. We want it a bit slower. Now it's rotating backwards, so we're going to put it as negative. We're going to put minus, minus, and minus, and we're going to play it. Now it's moving forward. So now we go back to the timeline. We right click on the driver, we copy the driver, and then let's just paste it everywhere. We paste it in all the wheels, paste driver, and paste the driver. So what we have now is the animation on all the wheels, but now it's symmetric in all of them. So we go back here, we're going to select the rear wheel, we go to the graph editor, and then for this one specific, we're going to go back to the value. We want it to be a bit faster, the wheel, and we also want to tweak the function here. We may multiply it by 4 and by 4. So now it's going half forward, half backwards. We put a plus instead of minus this time. We keep it with the plus. Just play with the values like that, and let's see now. Now it's going forward, which is good. If we want, we can also zoom in, and here we're going to see how it actually animates. So it starts from here, It's going slightly back, which is not good, but let's just leave it as it is now. It's going forward, which is good. This is for this wheel. Let's copy the driver. Let's go and select this one. Now the four wheels are all rotating, and just in a different way. We can also add a modifier here, generate it, and we can also start from a higher frame. So for instance, let's say we are starting from a high value. We start from, for instance, the value 30, and then we can copy this driver. Let's paste it here, and let's see how it looks. So now what we're going to do is to rotate the wheels. So what we're going to do now is to add a parent to each one of the front wheels. Let's just place shift snap cursor to select it, and let's just add empty plane axis. Those plane axes are going to go here. Ctrl P, keep object, and then we're just parenting again. Great, so now what we're going to do is each one of the wheels are going to have some constraints. Among them, they're going to follow the path. So we're going to select the north circle, and we are going to select follow the path. We're going to disable it for now, and we're going to add a limit location. The limit location is going to go to the bottom. We want to limit the location to local space, and for that we are going to select minimum and maximum. Then we're going to do the same with Y, minimum and maximum, and then we're going to do the same with the Z. We want local space, and then we're doing the same with the other wheel for path and limit location. Limit location, we are choosing different coordinates. Just make sure that it's correct. And this one. Space. Then we select north circle and follow the curve. And we're going to add one more constraint. Limit rotation. And limit rotation is going to go up. We are going to limit it in Z. We see it rotated, so for that we're going to put it back to 0, the child, and we're going to do the same here. We're going to limit their rotation, and we're going to put it up, limit to Z, wall space, and 0. Then we make sure that this one is fine. We're going to check the child, and we're just setting to 0. And now let's see how it looks. Click on A, and now we see that the wheels are following more or less the path. Then one of the problems we're having is that there is a point when the car stops, it's not getting back. So we have to fix the animation of the car as well. For that we are going to go back to 0. Then let's just fix the animation. We have that at the end the car still has this 30 degrees. What we want is it to be back. So here we are going to start putting it to 25. Then we put an I, we set a keyframe, and then here it should start being maybe a 20 or maybe a 10. We put an I, and by the end it should be at 0. We put another I, and the car should also go back to the normal location. And perfect. Now we have completed already the automatic wheel spinning plus steering, and then I would like to add some realism with some smoke particles and leaving a little trace. First of all, we'll have to create a box for the domain that is going to add a domain. For that, we're placing it to the center, we are scaling it 5. 20 times. We are going to wireframe, and then we are going to inset by 5. We're moving it up a bit. Let's keep it a bit under the floor, and then we're going to create a smoke domain. We can go back to normal shade, and then in divisions we are going to select 64. The density and the temperature difference. There is no difference in the temperature because it's more dust than actually smoke. It's not air, and we're going to add the density so it falls 0.1, and for now that's going to be okay. We're going to add now to the wheels also smoke, but this time it's going to be flow. The surface, let's do it to 0.5, and initial velocity, we are going to add it to all the wheels the same way. Okay, create a smoke, flow, surface, 0.5 that, initial velocity, and for the free wheels we are going to add a bit sharper surface, set 2 will define, initial velocity, let's set it at 2, same with this one, smoke, flow, initial velocity 2, that goes at 2, and we're going to add some extra details such as we're going to put it in the blur plane. It's going to be smoke. Smoke is going to be collision, and it's a static collision. Then we have the car. I would like to see what exactly includes the armor, and then we can put, for instance, any of the objects, for instance the body, smoke collision as well, so the smoke doesn't go through. It's animated. Then we can save. Let's see for now how it would look like. We will have another tutorial about smoke, about more realistic smoke, but as we can see it's leaving a little trace. We can add more realism. For that we can go to the box, the cube, and then we can add also some high resolution, adaptive domain, but for now maybe high resolution at about 8. So now we will have to add to the plane. We're going to add a material and texture. The texture, we are going to open one of those we had for this new texture. This new texture is going to be normal mapping, and then the normal mapping is going to affect not to the color but to the normal. Then we can go to material, we can see the material, and we are going to select the shadow, resist transparent, and we'll just try it right now. Let's go back to the material. Statue has to go also to receive transparent. Cube is going to have also a material. We're going to limited volume, density is going to be 0. Then we're adding the texture. Texture is the kind of voxel data, and main is the cube. Then instead of emission color we're going to select density, and let's add also some more lighting to the wall, manual lighting, ambient occlusion, and for now that's going to be it. We may add as well to the camera if you want the texture, so it will be painting the world. Going to open it, going to open the background image, and then we have to enable to light to the world real sky. Then we go back to camera settings, we go to the texture, we select equirectangular, horizon, and it should now start painting the background. Great, so we have already baked the animation of the car. I will explain some of the tweaks I have to make before creating this animation. For instance, you have to select each part of the car pieces, and in the materials you have to put them as receive transparent as well. Also, I had to make the domain bigger for the smoke, because as you can see here it's cut. I made it bigger, but still it's getting cut. It should be a bit bigger, or making a different kind of adaptive domain. But for now, for the sake of this tutorial, that's going to be more than good. Then I also played with the lights, and I played with the world settings such as real sky factors, ray trace, and all this stuff. You can now create your own animation, play with the values, and get something cool and share it with everyone. I hope you like the tutorial, and see you next time.